Coming up on News 11, on Monday, the SUNY Chancellor visited both Fredonia and JCC. University at Buffalo students and faculty are petitioning to stop a speaker from coming onto campus. And Walgreens says they're no longer producing abortion pills in 20 states. These stories and more, News 11 starts right now. Velez Davis.
And I'm Chloe Kowalik.
All right, Chloe, you got a lot of stories this week, so let's just jump right in. SUNY Chancellor Dr. John B. King Jr. visited SUNY Fredonia on Monday. King is the 15th SUNY Chancellor and was previously a U.S. Secretary of Education. This was King's 22nd visit to a SUNY campus since being named Chancellor in December. He visited several academic buildings on campus, such as Mason Hall, the newly renovated Houghton Hall, and the Science Center. He also met with students and faculty. King said, quote, "Here at Fredonia, I've been struck already, talking with students about the great experiences that they've been able to have at a smaller college," end quote. King's parents passed away when he was only 12 years old, and he cites school as being a saving grace for him. In fact, this is what inspired him to work in education. King believes that SUNY curriculum should be agile and adaptable to work with decreasing enrollment numbers. He also hopes for a greater public investment in education.
Michael Knowles, the host of The Michael Knowles Show, is going to be at the University at Buffalo's campus tomorrow, and that is causing an uproar among the students that attend UB. Knowles has said, quote, "The problem with transgenderism is that it isn't true. The problem with transgenderism is that it puts forward a delusional vision of human nature that defines the reality of the importance of sexual difference and complementarity," end quote. After pushback from the students and professors at UB, the event is still happening with the title, quote, "UB Young Americans for Freedom presents how radical feminism destroys women and everything else," end quote. Even after receiving a letter from several professors on campus, the UB president, Dr. Satish Tripathi, put out a statement on the UB website saying, quote, "This is a student chapter event. Student government-sponsored clubs have the ability to invite speakers of their choosing as long as they follow the laws and guidelines concerning public events on campus," end quote. Also in the statement, the president said that the university does not condone hate speech. Students are still not accepting the president's reasoning and are planning on protesting outside of Slee Hall an hour before the event takes place at 7 p.m.
Stolen Kia and Hyundai numbers have skyrocketed in Buffalo from about 400 overall thefts last year to about 350 vehicles within the first 2 months of 2023. The culprit is the Kia challenge that, through millions of likes and reshares across social media platforms, has spread like wildfire in recent months. According to U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer, quote, "All you had to do was put something on TikTok on how to steal these cars, and they started getting stolen left and right," end quote. Authorities say there's not much they can do about the thefts, but believe the offenders are part of the same underage individuals who have been repeatedly caught and released. Kia and Hyundai are being called to action by helping to provide drivers with anti-theft kits and develop a universal software to prevent any future stealing of the vehicles.
According to one Buffalo councilman, the current plan in Buffalo is to tear down the current Marine Drive apartments in order to replace them with new, affordable housing options. Talks of this change began back in 2021 with those who are already living in the buildings. The Marine Drive apartments have 616 units, and the new development plans include townhouses, as well as 3- and 5-story buildings. One tower could be included too. The plan is to preserve those 600 plus units and possibly have more. Overall, the project is estimated to cost roughly $400 million and wouldn't be finished for another 6 years. Buffalo Common Council member Mitch Nowakowski spoke with WIVB Buffalo about the resolution he's presenting on the complex. Nowakowski said, quote, "As we move forward, we need to make sure that the waterfront is for everybody and that everybody can afford to live there since a natural regional asset for us all." Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown also has said in the past that there needs to be a change to the area. He added, quote, "When the Marine Drive was built in 1951, it was the only thing on the waterfront. In the last 50 or so years, it's become the worst thing on the waterfront. It does not fit," end quote.
A SUNY Fredonia graduate is currently reprising his lead role as his show moves onto Broadway. Alex Grayson, who recently studied musical theater in early 2010s, is playing his Jim Connolly in Parade as it goes to the Broadway stage. Quote, "Phenomenally voiced" was how New York Times described Grayson's performance in the show. SUNY Fredonia is honored to have taught such a talented star. Professor Jessica Hillman McCord says, quote, "We knew Alex was a star from the second he got here. He came in with loads of natural ability, and we're proud to think we contributed to honing or focusing his natural gifts and letting him continue to grow," end quote. Grayson will be a visiting artist this semester at Fredonia, where he will conduct a remote question and answer session with students with the support of the Department of Theater and Dance Visiting Artist Program. Grayson's theatrical credits on Broadway also include a swing and ensemble performer in Into the Woods, Girl from North Country, and The Bronx Tale. Make sure to catch the show if you can, as it will be limited on Broadway, limited Broadway engagement. The Tony Award-winning musical that stars Ben Platt, Michaela Diamond, will be on stage from February 21st to August 6th.
Mark your calendars. Actor and comedian Adam Sandler is coming to Buffalo on April 16th. The KeyBank Center announced this past Thursday that the Happy Gilmore star will host a gig as part of his Adam Sandler Live tour. This came shortly after Sandler added several cities to his tour to accommodate the, quote, overwhelming demand. Pre-sale will go up tomorrow on Ticketmaster, and general sale will be up on Friday.
Polar bears are usually solitary animals except for this time of year. We are currently underway of mating season of the aforementioned species, and the Buffalo Zoo is one step ahead. Buffalo Zoo's carnivore team, led Caitlin Bruce, mentioned the fact that the bears are usually inactive and the zoo's very only polar bears, Luna and Sakari, are, quote, together in for breeding. Even though they've been together for several mating seasons at this point, they haven't had any cubs yet. But there is still plenty of time.
Paula's Donuts is moving stores. The well-known donut-making empire of the Buffalo area has been making plans to move from the Clarence location to Transit Road near Chick-fil-A. This will be the former location of Dave's Christmas Wonderland across the road from Tops. The move has been a growing concern of the traffic area because of the Chick-fil-A location that has opened. Paula's faced backlash for tax breaks in Amherst back in 2012 when the Clarence Industrial Development Association approved to $8,000 in sales tax breaks for the store to open. The IDA defended the tax breaks by saying that the new store would draw enough traffic to have a positive economic impact. Paula's Donuts still has their other locations in Tonawanda, West Seneca, and Larkville.
The 5th annual Boardroom Banked was held this past Sunday, March 5th at the Holiday Valley Resort in Ellicottville. This friendly competition was created by the Boardroom Snowboard Shop, and since its start has grown in popularity among snowboarders in the region. The event was created by the Boardroom as a fundraiser for the Punt Pediatric Cancer Collaborative. Over 140 riders participated in the event this year and helped to raise over $5,000 for the charity. The event has become a great success with people hanging out, watching, and having fun, riders winning cool prizes, as well as the money raised for Punt.
It's that time of year again where you will be seeing Girl Scouts selling their scrumptious cookies. There are two options to get your hands on a box of cookies. You can either head to a local store where they are selling them or order them online. Just head to girlscoutstoday.org for more information on times. The boxes are $5 a box or $6 if they are gluten-free cookies. A statement from girlscouts.org says, quote, participating in the Girl Scout Cookie Program helps girls learn the skills they need to become successful adults who will contribute to their communities and strengthen the U.S. workforce, end quote. And when we come back, we have your national headlines, including an update on Biden's trip to the Ohio train site. We'll be right back.
When you think of the local lowdown, what do you think of?
Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's gotta be the laughs we shared, the memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my God, so fun.
The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
pressure rising to visit the chemical spill in East Palestine, Ohio, President Joe Biden says that he is going to visit the site, but there are no plans so far from him to visit. When the White House was asked about Biden's potential visit, they answered, quote, "When or if the president should go is, of course, a question we would talk about, but I don't think this is something we've been agonizing over in real time," end quote. After more than a month into the train derailment that has threatened the health and the economy of the Pennsylvania village, Biden's absence has left past and present officials puzzled. Former Democratic Representative Tim Ryan of Ohio has said, quote, "I'm shocked that this hasn't happened, and I just don't understand. This is not a hard one," end quote. The White House insists that Biden did not appear for a simple reason. He does not want to distract from the cleanup efforts. But as time passes, officials are bewildered that Biden has been kept away.
The Biden administration is expected to make a decision regarding the controversial Willow Project soon. The Willow Project is a massive oil drilling project that would be located on the northern slope of Alaska. However, this area of land is one of the few pieces of undisturbed nature left. The project would yield nearly 180,000 barrels of oil a day. However, it would release an estimated 260 million metric tons of carbon dioxide into the air. This would significantly increase the rates of global warming and climate change, causing significant issues for the environment and Alaska. The potential environmental impacts have led many groups to oppose the project. A Change.org petition has even been launched, with over 3 million signatures so far.
The FBI is searching for a Florida woman who did not show up to court in Washington, D.C. on Monday. She was set to go to trial on federal charges related to the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot in 2021. According to the warrant issued for her arrest, court officials have not been able to locate defendant Olivia Pollack since late February. Pollack's lawyer, Alida Amato, said in a statement, quote, "Ms. Pollack had been diligently assisting in her defense for her upcoming trial prior to her disappearance, and I'm ready to assist and guide her in resolving her bench warrant before the court," end quote. Pollack is the third defendant charged as part of a group of Floridians accused of attacking police at the Capitol to become fugitives. Olivia has pleaded not guilty to several charges and was not being held in jail before the trial, but was subject to GPS monitoring.
Walgreens says it will not distribute abortion medication in 20 states, bowing to pressure from anti-abortion lawmakers and lawsuits targeting the legality of abortion pills. The company said it will not dispense mifepristone, the first of 2 drugs in the medication abortion process, in 20 states, after a February 1st letter from Republican attorneys general in those states. Walgreens said it will distribute the drug in only jurisdictions where it is legal and feasible. Abortion medication now accounts for a majority of abortions in the U.S. It's become a flashpoint in the fallout from the U.S. Supreme Court's Dobbs decision last year that overturned Roe v. Wade.
In a hard-hit California, the Sierra Nevada mountains are continuing to get pummeled with snow. Within the last 24 hours, another 17.5 inches of snow fell in the mountains, burying the area by 16 feet of snow in the last 2 weeks. The snowfall total for the season now stands at 48.3 feet, 33 feet, marking the snowiest season since the 2010-2011 winter. However, this isn't the snowiest season on record. The winter of 1951 and 1952 holds the record at 67.65 feet of snow. The light snow also fell this weekend in the mountains outside of Los Angeles, where people are still digging out from the more than 100 inches of snow that slammed the area over a week ago. Another storm was set to bring more snow to the Northern California and Sierras last night. Now when we come back, Trevor will join us for sports and Hunter Halterman joins us for this week's weather update. We'll be right back.
To Sofia and Gabriel, Miss Flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org. an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out.
Good night. And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
We're now joined by our Sports Hour host, Trevor Hauer, who is making his return to News 11. So, Trevor, what do you have for us in Fredonia sports?
Well, the Fredonia State women's lacrosse team suffered their first loss of the season on Saturday afternoon, falling to the Allegheny Gators by a score of 14-7 in the Devils' home opener. Julie Culver would lead Fredonia State with 3 goals. Erin Woods would chip in with 2 goals. Players Audrey Brown and Sydney Butchko each would score once. Goalie Emily Carr had 12 saves on the night. Fredonia State moves to 3-1 on the season and will host Cayuga College Wednesday, March 8th at 4:00 p.m. The Buffalo Sabres have played 3 games since our last episode of News 11, so here's what you hockey fanatics may have missed. The Sabres have fallen further out of playoff contention as they have won just 1 game out of 3 against the Tampa Bay Lightning while losing to the Edmonton Oilers and New York Islanders. The Sabres took down the Tampa Bay Lightning at home by a score of 5-3 by wearing the infamous black and red goat head jersey, in which Sabres goaltender Eric Comrie made 33 saves on 36 shots. 5 different goal scorers lit up the Sabres score sheet as Tage Thompson, Tyson Jost, Jack Quinn, Jeff Skinner, and Vinny Hinostroza each netted 1 goal, respectively. The Sabres were just on the outside looking in, then they lost their next 2 games in similar fashions, losing 3-2 in regulation to the Oilers and the Islanders. After scoring 5 against the Lightning, the Sabres have combined 4 goals in their last 2 games, falling backwards in the playoff standings and not receiving a single point in the standings at a point where points are crucial. The Sabres lost in controversial fashion last night as Islanders forward Hudson Fasching appeared to have kicked the game-winning goal into the net. The officials originally waved the goal off, but after a review, it was called a goal because, quote, there was no distinct kicking motion by the New York player, end quote. The Sabres host the Dallas Stars tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the KeyBank Center. Staying with the teams that play in the KeyBank Center, the Buffalo Bandits lacrosse team won their 5th game in a row last Friday, with seemingly half of their starters out of the lineup by a final score of 10-9 on the road against the Halifax Thunderbirds. Bandits transition Ian McKay netted a natural hat trick in the first quarter, followed by a hat trick from reigning National Lacrosse League MVP Dane Smith later on. The go-ahead goal from forward Tehoka Nanticoke really turned the tide for the Bandits as he scored in crazy behind-the-back fashion. The Bandits are currently 9-2 and are the best team overall in the National Lacrosse League. This Friday at 7:30 p.m., the Bandits will host the Halifax Thunderbirds to finish off the mini home-and-home series for Beach Night in Banditland, where the first 10,000 fans will receive Buffalo Bandits beach towels.
Okay, so we don't have to talk about the Sabres because, you know, things are not going well.
They're kind of falling backwards.
Yeah, they're
maybe
falling
a little
backwards.
bit. Yep.
But the Bandits are doing pretty good.
Being the best team in the league right now, wearing the awesome orange and black colors, and then on top of that, beach night, that's going to be absolutely awesome.
What does that mean? Like,
So,
what is beach night?
Either they think it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 32 degrees Celsius. It doesn't matter because they're going to be getting beach towels. They're going to have such a fun time at the KeyBank Center. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, cool. So now we're going to toss it over to Hunter for our first forecast of the night. Hunter, what do you have for us?
Starting out my weather forecast, I've got some pretty good news for you all. Tonight there's going to be no snow and no rain, which is always a good thing to hear in Fredonia. It is going to get a little chilly though, so you may just want to stay inside tonight. You should also expect some pretty cloudy skies that carry over into tomorrow morning. That being said, tomorrow should look pretty similar to how today was. There's going to be more clouds and temperatures are going to remain pretty consistent, sticking around that 35-degree mark. As for tomorrow night, you're still going to see those cloudy skies and those chilly temperatures. When I come back, I'll have your weekend weather forecast. Back to the hosts.
And when we come back, we'll have your international headlines. We'll be right back.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the Sisterhood of Women in Tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Every day.
Millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
And banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an effort.
to get to know each other.
On a deeper level.
Father,
Cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
it's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward.
come together,
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
More details are out about the 4 Americans kidnapped during a trip to Mexico last weekend. Officials say Latavia McGee is one of the 2 victims who survived the ordeal, and the only one who was not injured. The mother of 6 went to the border city of Matamoros for cosmetic surgery, but a close friend says she got lost while trying to locate the medical clinic. McGee was with 3 friends who traveled from South Carolina to Mexico with her when their vehicle was shot and armed men kidnapped them. 2 of the victims died. McGee and Eric Williams were found alive in a wooden house Tuesday. They have since returned to the U.S. Mexican officials believe that they may have been a case of mistaken identity. They have detained 1 person in connection to the incident.
After a fire hit the Notre Dame Cathedral and caused significant damage back in 2019, the landmark has since been under construction. The Paris building is slated to open back up to visitors at the end of 2024. The reconstruction started just last year after more than 2 years of work to make the building stable enough for artists to work on it. French authorities decided to make the building the way it was before the flames under a Gothic architecture style. That includes recreating the 93-meter high, which is 315 feet, spire. On Tuesday, an exhibition called Notre Dame de Paris at the heart of the construction site is open to visitors in the front of the cathedral. It highlights the reconstruction process and also features some remains from the fire and works of art from the cathedral. Every day, approximately 1,000 people are working to rebuild the Notre Dame. Further construction work will continue in 2025.
Time Magazine's Woman of the Year has been named. Olena Shevchenko, an activist and leader of war efforts in Ukraine, has won the award. Shevchenko, co-founder of the Kiev-based nonprofit Inside in 2017 to support women and LGBTQ communities. Shevchenko has become one of the most recognizable advocates in Ukraine and has been attacked 7 times in the past 5 years. She was sprayed with pepper spray, detained, and faced other instances of brutality. Shevchenko works with the LGBTQ communities and women, as she says they are especially vulnerable during wartime. After a short break, we'll be back with your trending stories and one last look at the weekend weather. We'll be right back.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
On Monday, Twitter users were unpleasantly surprised as Twitter faced one of the biggest outages since Elon Musk took the reins. Users saw issues with clicking on photos and video links. There were over 8,000 reported outages. This is Twitter's 2nd glitch in less than a week and the 3rd of the month. Musk tweeted, quote, "This platform is so brittle, sigh. Will be fixed shortly," end quote.
Baskin-Robbins is adding a new ice cream flavor for their menu for a limited time. The new flavor, chicken and waffles, has been added as their flavor of the month for March. This spin-off of the popular meal features a buttermilk waffle ice cream base, small chicken and waffle flavored bits, and bourbon maple syrup swirl. And there's no need to worry, no chickens were harmed in the making of this flavor, as it's purely a gimmick.
Comedian Chris Rock will meet on Netflix Saturday. He is set to perform live. It will be the first time the streaming service has carried an event live. Rock has been on the road for about a year with his Ego Death World Tour. And Saturday's selective outrage comedy special will take place at the Hippodrome in Baltimore. Netflix will air a half-hour show before Rock hits the stage, and then a live show after Rock wraps up. Those shows will feature some of Rock's comedian friends. Would you try the ice cream, I have to ask?
I don't know if I would. I've actually never had chicken and waffles, surprisingly enough.
Okay, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go to the store. You're gonna get a bag of Dino Nuggies.
Dino Nuggies.
Okay, you're gonna get some frozen waffles. Put them in the toaster.
Eggos.
Yes, okay. Then put them together on a plate and put maple syrup all over the whole thing.
I'm sure it tastes really good. I've just never had it.
Oh my god, you'd love it. But eating it like frozen, I don't know, man. I don't know about that.
Sounds like it'd be an interesting time.
Yeah, but anyways, Hunter, what do you think? Would you try it?
I don't think I would. Hearing what it contains, I don't think it sounds great. I'll stick to my regular chicken and waffles on a plate. Getting to the weekend weather, on Friday we can expect to see more of those cold temperatures, but with some spots of snow throughout the day. If you're a Fredonia student looking to travel home for spring break, just be ready for some slippery roads. Friday night we'll see the snow continue into Saturday morning, but it shouldn't stick around for too long. Overall, Saturday will just be a little bit chilly, getting down to 20 degrees at night. And finally, that brings us to Sunday, which is probably going to be the best day of the weekend for your outside activities. Temperatures are going to be a little bit higher, reaching up to a high of 40 degrees. There won't be any rain or snow for you to worry about, but there will be clouds throughout the day. Sunday night is going to get progressively worse, and we will see the return of that rain-snow mix. That'll be all for your weekend weather forecast, so I'll pass it right on back to your hosts.
All right, well, good to know the travel conditions for this weekend because it is kicking off spring break.
Do you plan on going home, Chloe?
I do. I think I'm going to go home on Saturday and I'm going to see my dog. I'm so excited. Shout out to my dog. I'm really excited. So, how about you?
No, I'm staying in Fredonia. Might find some time to go on some sort of adventure throughout the week, but there's always time to figure that one out.
Yeah.
But all right, that does it for this week's News 11 update. Thank you to everyone in our entire behind-the-scenes crew.
And of course, thank you to everyone watching at home. We'll be back next week. Have a great night.